This episode of the WP Minute is brought to you by Pressable. You know what the best hosting feels like? Nothing. No panic alerts. No mystery downtime. No, hey, is the site down? Slack messages. That's the Pressable experience. WordPress hosting so reliable you forget it's even there. We keep your site fast, secure, and up 100% of the time, so you can get back to building, selling, blogging, or binging cat videos. No judgment, whatever you want to do. Go to Pressable.com/WP Minute and try hosting that disappears in all the right ways. Pressable.com/WP Minute. Pressable.com/WP Minute. Thanks, Pressable, for supporting the show.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the WP Minute. I'm your host, Eric Karkovack. Today's episode features a segment of my interview with Brad Williams. Brad is the partner and co-founder of Web Dev Studios. Now, to hear the entire interview, check out our WP Minute Plus podcast. Visit us over at thewpminute.com for details and to become a member. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.
This is a great way to test it, right? Especially as a developer, is have it build a plugin with a settings page. And that was how I generally will test AI code to see what it does. Because if you've done any development in WordPress and plugins and setting pages, there's about 50 different ways you could do this, right? There is one recommended way, which is use the settings API. And a lot of the responses and things that would come back from ChatGPT, from Gemini, other things would be the old way. It would be either using the, add settings, update setting or update options. I think it is functions like the direct functions to work with settings, blah, 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 rather than the settings API, which does all the escaping, all the sanitizing, does all that for you, right? Where this other method does not. So if you're not including that extra stuff, now you're, potentially compromised. So test it out, give it something that what it should do. What the right answer is and tell it, test these things out and see if it comes back wrong, then, maybe this isn't the tool, or maybe it's the prompt or the way that you said it, right? Like making sure that you're really instructive. That's the cool thing about Cursor and some of these other platforms. You can kind of give it I forget exactly what it's called, but it's like an instruction file. And it's basically setting the stage for this bot so it understands what it is and how it needs to work. And it's like saying you're an expert level WordPress developer. You follow the WordPress coding standards, link to the standards. You follow these PHP standards, link to this. You give it these instructions so it knows who it is and how it needs to act, the standards it needs to follow, and then it really tightens up what it's doing. Right now it knows I'm an expert level WordPress. I'm going to follow all these standards, right? Here's the whole documentation I can go off of, so it gets super sharp once you start feeding it those rules rather than just saying, code me something in ChatGPT, and it's like, okay, and it spits out something completely wrong. So always trust but verify, but I like to challenge it sometimes when I know what the answer should be. See what it comes back with. It's interesting.
Yeah, I've taken to running anything I generate through plugin check, which is what the official plugin repository uses to check against security and best practices and things like that. And I'm always amazed at how many things come out unescaped. And so that's kind of like the process of kind of going through that and just verifying that, okay, now I can look at this and say, okay, this isn't secure. I've got to fix this. Don't go straight to production, please. Just check it first. Always. Put it on the staging site and then see what it does.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. Trust but verify. Make sure what it's producing. Always, never do it directly in prod. Always dev, always staging, work in local environments. These systems are smart and they can learn, right? So they can learn over time. They can understand your team's processes, your coding, your own coding standards, right? It doesn't just have to follow WordPress. You might have your own tweak on those standards and you just feed it all that, right? And train it to be your coding assistant, what we call the rubber duck, right? Like you have that rubber duck. Well, now you got AI. You can rubber duck with AI. Say, hey, something's not right here. I'm not quite sure, what's going on. What do you think? And it's pretty wild. It's fun though. It's just a new way of coding, and I think people honestly, you need to get on board or you're going to get passed at this point from development. Again, it's not there to replace you, but if you're not using these tools to help accelerate what you're doing and do some of the more routine, monotonous stuff, all your peers are, right? So it's going to catch up to you at some point.
Yeah, and you're pretty happy with the time you save, I think, too. I mean, it has made my day a lot easier. I know that. So it's something that, like I said, every level should probably be digging into this deeply now.
Yeah. I mean, And we haven't talked about the marketing angle of it, right? Like all the emails we get now, like it's even more, and they're getting so specific, like, hey, I saw you worked on this project at that, blah, blah, blah. Like it's just scraping your LinkedIn and auto-generate, they're getting smarter, right? They're getting smarter in what they say to try to get you to interact and be like, wait, how'd you know that? It's all coming through these AI systems, and they're just getting smarter because they can figure out the data and what you want to read or what you want to see.
Thanks for listening to the WP Minute, part of the Matt Report Media Network. This episode wouldn't be possible without our amazing pillar sponsors, Pressable, Kinsta, GoDaddy, 20i, and Elementor. These brands are supporting WordPress media and helping us invest in your future as a WordPress professional. Our Foundation Plus sponsors like Hostinger, Big Scoots, Stellar WP, Personalized WP, Weglot, and PatchStack help us keep the lights on. Thanks to all of our members in the WP Minute Slack channel, which you can join too. Head on over to thewpminute.com/support to get access. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to hit the share button or tell a friend about this podcast. See you in the next one.